about it. I've read the majority of my first block writing profiles, and so many people are like, I don't know what poem explication is. Well, guess what? Today you're going to learn. Up at the top of this first handout called Poem Explication, okay, I want you to circle the definition of poem explication. Breaking a poem apart and analyzing it for a deeper meaning. You will see that definition on a test. Specifically a unit test. Your poetry unit test, which is on February 1st, it's going to consist of 3 different parts. The first part is going to be poem explication. I'm teaching you how to do that today. And we're going to practice. And then we'll practice again on Monday. Okay? So when you break apart a poem, you are looking for specific things in a poem. Alright? If you look at this list, what's the first thing I'm asking for if you're doing poem explication?
Title.
Title, yeah. The title of the poem, that's so easy. You're just going to put the title of the poem, but what else does that say you must need?
The quotes around it.
Yes, quotes. Everybody up here. Look at me. If you do not put quotes around poem titles, I'm taking off 2 points automatically. All poem titles get quotes around them. So underline that, highlight it, do what you need to do to remember that. The next one, this one's easy. What else am I looking for?
Poet.
The poet. You put the poet's name there. And you're good to go. We can move on. The next one.
Speaker.
The speaker. This is the person who is assumed to be doing the talking in a poem. We say that poems talk. Okay? So if a poem has a speaker, what does a book have?
A narrator.
Good. Speakers and narrators are the same thing, but we call them different things when we look at poetry versus stories. If no details are given about the specific speaker, then it's assumed that that specific poet is doing the talking. So you put the poet's name there. Let me give you 2 examples. Okay? Let's say that William Shakespeare wrote this line of poetry. William Shakespeare. I am a lonely little girl, crying, crying, crying in the corner. Who's the speaker?
Shakespeare.
I am a lonely little girl,
Little girl.
crying, crying in the corner by William Shakespeare. Who's the speaker?
Little girl.
The little girl. Okay, even though William Shakespeare wrote it, he's telling it from the voice of a lonely little girl who's crying, crying. Okay? Here's another example by William Shakespeare. I am crying, crying, crying in the corner. Who's the speaker?
You.
Who's him?
Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare. Okay? So the speaker is either the poet, or if it gives you more details, then you put who the speaker is. Just like I am the lonely little girl. The speaker's the lonely little girl. Okay? Next, you're going to talk about the mood of the poem. This is how the poem is intended to make you, the reader, feel. I have a pet peeve with this. When you put happy and sad. Reason being, I can go up to my 2.5-year-old daughter. I'm like, how are you feeling today? She'll be like, happy. She's 2.5 years old and she's using the words happy and sad. You all are in 9th grade. We don't want to have a 2.5-year-old vocabulary, okay? A poem is intended to evoke certain emotions, whether that's curiosity, depression, sadness, well, not really sadness, but things like that. Bigger ideas than saying happy, mad. Okay? Here's a funny story. I had a kid once read a poem. He didn't understand what the heck that poem was talking about. So whenever he got to mood, he put confused. Because he's like, I don't get this, I feel confused. No. It's how is that poem supposed to make you feel? If you don't get it, that's on you. Okay? But what emotion is it trying to get from you? That's what I'm looking for. Next is the setting, where the poem is taking place. If it doesn't say something specific, you put N-A. What does N-A mean? If you fill in a blank. Yeah, not available, not applicable, or applicable. So, when we read a poem out of that book, they're going to have all these little pretty pictures beside of it. They're there to fool you with the setting. Don't think because there's a picture of a mountain, the poem is going to take place on a mountain. Right? Here's another funny story about a kid. I read all his poem explications, and for setting, he would put, on my front porch in a swing. Okay? On the beach with my toes in the sand. If we weren't reading anything about a beach or a front porch swing, and then there was another one, in my grandma's rocking chair. Finally, I was like, honey, what is going on? Where are you getting this stuff from for the setting? He was like, that's where I would be sitting if I wanted to read this poem. So he would be sitting, reading the poem in his grandmother's rocking chair. Okay? Setting means where it's taking place. Sometimes there won't be one, so you put what?
In A.
In A, yes. Next is rhyme scheme. Okay? I'm going to write some beautiful lines of poetry for you. How many of you all already know about rhyme scheme, what that means? Anybody? Okay. Write this down so you don't forget. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Candy is sweet. And so are you. Oh, so sweet. With rhyme scheme, you only look at the words that rhyme. You don't pay attention to anything else in that line, only the end word. So let's take a look at the word red. Does red rhyme with anything?
No.
No. So we give it an A. Simple enough. Does blue rhyme with something? What does it rhyme with? You. Blue and you rhyme. Okay?
Red and head.
Hold on. But is that part of the poem?
No.
There, okay. So blue and you. So the next letter in the alphabet after A is, so because blue and you rhyme, we give it a B. Sweet. Does that rhyme with anything in this poem? So we give it a
A. No.
C.
C. If we give it an A, that means it rhymes with red. If they have the same letter, they rhyme. Okay? If I have the rhyme scheme A, B, C, D, E, F, G, does anything rhyme?
No.
No. What about A, B, C, A?
Yes. A.
Yeah, the A's rhyme. Good. We'll practice this. The next one is completely new information. Line breakdown. All right. I need you to circle the word quatrain. Circle the word quatrain. Circle, highlight the word couplet. Circle, highlight the word sestet. And last but not least, octet.
What's the other one?
Octet. Above quatrain, above the word quatrain, write a 4. Roses are red, violets are blue, candy is sweet, and so are you. How many lines is in that?
4.
I can call it a
Quadrant.
quatrain. 2 rules for a quatrain in my class. 4 lines that have some rhyme. I'm not going to get specific with rhyme scheme with that. 4 lines that have some rhyme. Okay? Here are my 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. I call that one quatrain. Okay, the next one. Please put a 2 above couplet. Now this one's very, very picky. A couplet has how many lines?
2.
But something has to be true about those 2 lines. The very end word has to do what? Rhyme. So that means we call it an A rhyme scheme. Okay? Like said, and bed. If those were at the end here, we call it a couplet. Are we good so far? Okay. The next one is a sestet. Put a 6 above it, or it's already there. Sestets are also complicated, but since this is basic information for you all, we are going to say 6 lines that have some rhyme. Here's my 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm saying that it has some rhyme in it. So these 6 lines, some lines rhyme, I call it a sestet. We're good with that. And last but not least, we have our octet. How many lines are in an octet?
8.
8. Same exact concept. We have 8 lines of poetry. I ask that you have some rhyme within those lines. Okay? Within that stanza of 8, we have some rhyme. So far, we get everything so far with line breakdown, rhyme scheme. You get it? Is there anything I need to review before I move on? Tell me now. Forever hold your peace. Actually, not really forever, but until we start practicing. All right, let's move on to theme. Please underline the part that says, this must be a complete sentence. There's a difference between theme and subject. Let's say I'm reading a poem about a tree slowly withering away and dying. What's the subject of that poem?
Tree dying.
Yeah, the tree dying. But if you want to find the theme, look at what it says theme is. The underlying life meaning behind the poem. What about life could you get from a poem? So let's hypothetically say that we've read a poem about a tree dying and withering away. What life message could you get from that?
Don't you like that?
You die. You die.
Life
Yes.
cycle.
What is it?
Life cycle.
Okay, a life cycle, sure. Now the thing with this is you have to put your theme in a complete sentence. You can't say death. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll count it wrong. You put it in a pretty sentence for me, and I'll give you examples of this when we move on. Okay? And next, different forms of figurative language. This is where that green sheet that I gave you comes into play. You're now going to find anything on that list. Personification, metaphor, simile, assonance, things like that. And I ask for every single poem explication, you find 3 examples of 3 different, keyword different, forms of figurative language. So that means you can find a simile, a metaphor, and personification. But you can't do this. 3 similes, I'm done. 2 similes and 1 piece of personification, I'm done. Doesn't work like that. 3 different ones. If you tell me you found a simile, you must give me the example of the simile in the line. Alright? So you tell me it's a simile, you write down the line that is the simile. Very good. Yeah? Alright, let's practice this stuff. If you flip this handout over, you will see blank poem explication worksheets. For your unit test, I will give you a blank worksheet exactly like this. And I'll give you a poem. And then I expect you to fill it out correctly. Hence the unit test. I need you to find your blue book in the bottom of your desk. Now, here's the thing with my class. Every single thing that we do in this blue book can be found online. There's never technically a point of checking out a book. You can get on Google and find all the stuff. I need you to turn to page 566, Dreams Deferred. Dreams Deferred? Open chapter? Yeah. I let you guys mark in books as long as it's people. We're going to do this first one together. Dreams Deferred. Okay. What's the title of this poem?
Dreams Deferred.
Write that down beside the title. Now remember, what must it have?
Quotation.
Quotes. Make sure you put quotes around it. This is called Dreams Deferred. For those of you watching at home, you can also Google it. It's by Langston Hughes. Dreams Deferred. All right, who's the poet?
Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes. So you just write his name down. Now next we're going to try to find the speaker, and in order to find the speaker of a poem, you actually have to read it. So read the poem, and write down who you think the speaker is. Now if you get it wrong, it's no big deal. I just want you to try before I give you the answer. So everybody should be writing something down on the board. Alright, the poem reads, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or does it crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sours like a heavy load, or does it explode? Who do you think the speaker is?
No, the boat.
Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes.
Oh.
Langston Hughes. Please refrain from anytime putting you. We either put the poet's name, or if it's talking specifically about a person from that person's point of view, then we write that. If you remember the poem we read yesterday about the black slave woman, remember that? She's the speaker of that poem. Next, if you have writing in your book, oh no, I'm getting ahead of myself. Mood. Go ahead and write down your mood. Please elevate your vocabulary. Really think about what this poem, how is this poem supposed to make you feel? What emotions is it evoking in you? Look at the end punctuation because there's all kinds of question marks. Sometimes one word doesn't really get the whole mood. Now, if you need to write a sentence or a phrase to really capture the mood, do that. I actually prefer it. Who would like to take a stab at it? Go ahead.
Anger, maybe?
Do you think it's anger? Okay, why do you think it's anger? Give me an example.
Well, because, I mean, it says, does it fester like a sore?
Mhm.
Or, like, does it, the really big thing is that it says, does it explode? Or like a heavy load?
Okay.
And, well, I mean, if someone's really angry, they usually feel like they're going to explode, or...
And why do you think this person would feel angry in this? What's happening to their dreams? What is the word, before we do it, what does the word deferred mean?
It's
I-
what?
What is it? If I defer my dreams.
Put off until a future time.
There we go. How did you know that? What? The book actually gives you definitions? Yeah. So you're putting off dreams. So this speaker is putting off his dreams. He's like, I wonder what happens to those dreams that are put off. Does it explode? Maybe I'm angry because I'm not accomplishing them because I put them off. What else? Yeah.
Maybe sort of disappointed because I feel like he wanted to do something that he didn't get to do.
Okay, disappointment, possibly, yeah. And actually, amazing.
Alright, I think he is, like, sad in the front because Bird says put off into the future.
Okay.
So, put off something, you're going to get sad, and then you ain't going to be able to do whatever you want to do.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. If you could put that into sentence on a test, I'd probably give you credit for that, even though you used one of my dead words. What's one of my dead words?
Sorry.
Sad. Yeah. Rachel, last one.
Curious because he wants to know what happened.
Good, and that's actually the exact thing that I have written down. I have a sense of wondering and curiosity. Now, just because I have it down on my paper does not mean that's the only correct answer, right? So, all those I would accept, as long as, if you're kind of iffy about what you're writing, you can explain it. Explain to me what you're talking about, it'll be fine. The next one, what's the setting?
It says at the top there, Harlem.
It's a type of poem, Harlem Renaissance.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's in italics. Yeah.
His dreams.
If I'm standing up here, I'm like,
What happens?
what happens to a dream that's deferred? What happens? Does it explode? Is it better like a sword?
His mind.
I would take that, or I would take something else.
Yeah.
NA! Yeah. I would take his mind because technically, you know, he's thinking about it and he's voicing what's going on, his thoughts. I would get it. Not preferably, but I get where you're coming from. Or I would have NA. Now, if there's writing in your book, erase it. If you have a pencil, we're going to do this. We're going to practice. You may write in your book. Now, when people do rhyme scheme, I've seen it two different ways from freshmen, and I'm completely fine with either way. The first way is that you break it apart by stanza. So every time there's a new stanza, you start over with the alphabet. That's fine. I've seen other people take the alphabet, and they just keep on rolling every stanza, and they don't start over. That's fine. Whichever way you feel comfortable, I have answers for both. All right? Try the rhyme scheme. I want everybody to attempt this on your paper, no matter if it's right or wrong. Remember, it's only the end words. End words get the same letter. I only start with A. somebody like to take a stab at it? Try it? Go ahead.
Well, for the first one, I put A, and then the second one, I put
Good.
B, and then C, and
Hold
then
on.
B. Oh.
Okay, so you're going all the way down, right? You didn't start over with the alphabet?
Oh, wait, I forgot to do the second stanza.
Okay,
Wait,
do the, finish
look at
it.
the- hold on. Never mind, I'm looking at the wrong one. I keep looking at page 5.
I'm sorry. Okay. Somebody else want to try it? Go ahead, Julian.
Okay, I started off the first line, A,
Good.
and then a new stanza, A, B, C, B, D, E, D.
Good.
And then next stanza, A, and then next stanza, A, A.
Good. Very nice. Sometimes with rhyme scheme, you will have something that sounds like this. If you try to break rhyme scheme, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W. Does that sound like there's a pattern to you? No. If there's not a recognizable pattern in my class, then we're going to say it doesn't have rhyme scheme. So if you can't find those letters that are the same, and it makes a pattern, we say NA, it doesn't have a rhyme scheme. Alright? Let's move on down to the next one. Actually, I want to say that just in case, repeat that just in case somebody didn't get it. A, space, A, B, C, B, D, E, D, space, A, space, AA. How many of you all got that right, just to begin with? You did? Great, you did? That's fine, good? Alright, we'll keep on practicing. Line breakdown. I have a question for you. Do you see any lines of 4 that rhyme? Anybody? Yes or no?
No.
No? So we don't have any quatrains. Do you see any lines of 6 that rhyme? Any stanzas of 6 that rhyme?
No.
No? Okay. How many lines is that big one?
7.
7. So we don't have one for that one. What about a octet? You see any lines of 8?
No.
No, it doesn't have it either. Do you see any lines of 2
Yes.
Yes.
that has a rhyme scheme?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So for the line breakdown, the only thing you write, 1 couplet. Because we only have 1 couplet, and that's that AA down at the bottom. We didn't have any quatrains, we didn't have any sestets, we didn't have any octets, but we did have that one little couplet at the end. Does everybody get how I got that? So I can move on? We good? Theme. Write what you think the theme of this is. Why would the narrator write this to you? What is he trying to tell you about life? Not the narrator, I'm sorry, the speaker. What is he trying to tell you? Please do not put, it is about dreams. That's the subject, not the theme. Give me one good sentence. An example before we start looking at what everybody said. So for mine, I have something like this, and yours doesn't have to be exactly like mine. It can't be way out in left field either, but something similar. Life often poses many questions about our dreams and whether or not we can and will accomplish them. Okay? Life often poses many questions about our dreams and whether or not we can accomplish them. What's some of the things you all put? Mason?
Expressing himself. Or is that good for setting?
What is it?
Or is that good for the setting?
That one, I'll be honest, it's not going to work for either. We want the life meaning. So the whole thing is about, we already said dreams. But then, as we said before, it's talking about, well, what if you defer those dreams? What if you put those dreams off? So your theme needs to be something about dreams that are left behind or dreams that aren't accomplished. And you need to put that in the sentence. Okay? What else? No one? It's okay if you get it wrong. It's no big deal. We change things. We practice. Yeah.
I put, don't procrastinate pursuing your goals and dreams.
I like that word too. Very good vocabulary in that. Yeah, that's good. Because if you do procrastinate on goals and dreams, it may fester like a sore or explode. And last, this is where you need that green sheet. You are going to find 3 different forms of figurative language for me. Would you like to do this together? Or you want to do it on your own and then go over what you write?
Together.
Together, of course. It's always better together. All right. Somebody find one form of figurative language. Go ahead. What do you think?
Simile,
Okay.
for the dry, does it dry up like a raisin?
Exactly. So for number 1, you need to write simile. Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Somebody find another one on your green sheet? Yeah, Julie.
What sound for alliteration explode? I don't know. Does explode sound like an explosion? I don't know. Explode, like,
What are you wanting to compare that to?
or does it explode?
What are you calling it?
Load.
Um,
Comparing heavy load and explode like that.
yeah.
It is something load and explode.
Samantha Wheeler, being signed out.
Okay, thank you. Load, explode.
Constants.
We went over this yesterday. Same exact concept.
Consonant.
Assonance?
Yes. Yes. And on that handout that I gave you, we'll go over, it's that little baby one. It'll say, anytime you have rhyme, you always have assonance because you can't have rhyme without that repeating vowel sound. Head and bed, you hear the E. Load, explode, you hear that repeating vowel sound of the O. That's assonant. Anytime you have a rhyming word, you always have assonance. So that's an easy one for poetry. What's the next one? Which one?
Run. That's like a sword and run.
Good. Because technically, can a dream run? No. Okay, so personification. And the line that he's talking about, that says run in it. Alright guys. And that's how we do poem explication in the class. So we're going to practice today in groups or in pairs. And you're going to fill out the next worksheet on page 578. Hope is the thing with feathers. Now hold on before we start getting in groups. Hope is the thing with feathers is the next one by Emily Dickinson. You and a partner will fill that out together and then we'll go over it before class. For homework and for my people at home who are watching this, you're also going to do page 594 analysis of baseball for homework, and that will be a check on Monday. Okay, so I only ask for you to do one by yourself, and I think that's reasonable. Now, you don't have to check out a book. I've had people take pictures of analysis of baseball, or you could just go to Google and you type in the poem, analysis of baseball, and it's there. Alright, let's go ahead and get into our groups and do an explanation of hope is the thing with feathers.